I have seen gods fly. I've seen men build weapons that I couldn't even imagine.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Artz from the Artz Review, and before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and after the video, if you like it, go ahead and drop a like as well. So, you see the title. This review is about the Black Panther movie that's come out today. I actually got to see it last night on a late night at around 10 o'clock, so I'm a little tired right now. The movie wasn't that, it was, you know the funny thing it was? There were no previews. I don't know if that's a Thursday night type thing or whatnot, but there were no previews. The movie just got started right at 10 o'clock, and normally, I haven't experienced that before, but it got started right at 10 o'clock, which I thought was odd, but it was pretty cool at the same time. But yeah, man, I just want to say, man, this movie was great. It was a good movie. I'm just gonna get right to the point. It was a great movie. I actually enjoyed it. Now, in the weeks and months leading up to the release of this movie, I want to say it was a bit overhyped and people were doing the most. I even saw some memes saying things like donate some of the proceeds that some of the money that the movie made to black communities and stuff like that. And it was getting to the point where it felt like Black Panther was the next messiah for black people, and I'm just not really, I wasn't with all of that. I was just really excited to see the film, to see the movie, to see the characters and how they were portrayed, to see how Wakanda was portrayed, to see how Black Panther was woven into the whole the Marvel universe. I just wanted to see how that was. I wasn't going into it to see a messiah or nothing like that, but it seemed like a lot of people was like kind of in that route, but that's neither here or there. The movie was great. The movie was it was well done. I loved how they portrayed Wakanda. In the comic books and in the animated series, Wakanda is portrayed as a technologically advanced, more advanced than the so-called first world, but Wakanda is located in Africa. And most people, when they think of Africa, they think of primitive, they think of people just not getting it. And that's not the case, not when it comes to Wakanda. Wakanda is technologically advanced. Now, I do want to say that these characters and the country of Wakanda are fictional. They're fiction, okay? But in the real world, there are cities and there are skyscrapers in Africa which are very modern. So let's just get that out the way. Now, the characters are well done. The dialogue in this film was well done. It wasn't cheesy. The humor was well placed. The thing I love most about this movie is that they kept it centered in Wakanda, which is unlike what they did with the 2011 Green Lantern movie when Hal Jordan went to Oa for like 5 minutes, and then they brought him right back to Earth, which I thought was whack. I mean, I wanted to see more of Oa, but you know, the studio head was like, nah, to hell with that. and it's the same thing that happened with Thor, the first movie. You know, the first 10, 15 minutes of the movie was great because he was in Asgard. They almost immediately threw him in on Earth, and that's when it kind of just went downhill. You know, we see these characters, we want to see their environments, you know, and I think they got it right with Black Panther. I mean, he was already in Civil War. They had to introduce him that way because he was a part of that, and that was a good way to introduce how his father was killed and stuff like that. So they wove him in that way. But for his standalone movie, I'm glad they kept it in Wakanda and didn't drag him to the U.S. or some first world nation, so-called first world nation in the film. I'm glad they kept it in Wakanda. We actually got to see the ritual combat of, you know, where people can challenge the king and they can become king themselves if they win. We got to see that. I only saw that in the animated show, and I'm glad to see that on film. I'm glad to see the city of Wakanda portrayed and all the technological advancements that it has. I love the way that the characters were portrayed in this film. I love the way the environment was portrayed in this film too. And I want to say one more thing too. There was some criticism going around some months ago about the film having almost an entirely black cast. I mean, the film takes place in Africa. There aren't that many white people in Africa, especially where Wakanda is. Wakanda is a closed-off nation. So there really isn't going to be any white people there. It just makes sense. There's nothing I don't think there's nothing behind that. It just makes sense that it's like that. Another thing too, I want to say that, you know, the female characters in this film were strong, and they were equal to a lot of the main characters. Now, there are some films right now that are going on where they don't do that. They show a big imbalance of male and female characters. Like, you'll have a really strong man and damsel in distress, and then you'll have a really strong woman beating up men who are 100 and something pounds heavier than her, who are fully combat ready, but yet she's punishing them, just doing away with them, making quick work, and it's just not believable. In this film, the female characters kicking ass was believable. You know, I could see myself, okay, if I got in a fight with that one, I might have an issue. I might have to really bring out the stops. So that it was believable. The fight scenes were believable. One thing I want to say too, the fight scenes in this film was it didn't have the traditional type of martial arts that you see in normal Hollywood films or even films from out of Asia. The way they moved in this film, you could see that they were picking apart fighting styles from African culture. And I love the way they depicted a lot of
My son, it is your time.
Show me my respect and bow down.
You get to decide what kind of king you are going to be.
They pulled a lot of I love the way that they pulled a lot of cultures together in the film. You know, you can tell that we're gonna take from here, we're gonna take from here, we're gonna take from here. It wasn't just the fighting styles. They took a lot of the different types of cultures, how they paint, how the face paint went, some of the armor went. They took a lot from a lot of different cultures in Africa, and I think that was great. I mean, there's only but so much you can do with one film. I hope that this Black Panther film is the start of a renaissance in films depicting African cultures, and maybe even television series. I think it's going to be great if they start to do that, because there's just such a richness there that has not been really or truly explored yet. So with that all being said, man, I just want to say a big shout out to Marvel, big shout out to Disney, big shout out to the actors, Michael B. Jordan, Chadwick Boseman, everybody in the film. You guys did a great job, and I hope to see more Black Panther, not just in Avenger movies. I hope to see more standalone movies. But until then, man, this has been Arts from the Arts Review. Oh, by the way, I think I'm going to go see this movie again so I can really get to the nitty-gritty of the information out of it, because there was a lot of undertones there that I was able to pick up, but I'm pretty sure there was some that I wasn't able to pick up. So I'm going to go see this movie again and do a second review on it, more in depth, probably a longer review with some more information on it. But if you like this video, go ahead and drop a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for new videos coming up. This is Arts from the Arts Review, and I am out. By the way.